If you want some idea how cold it is today at Tulsa Speedway for the Sprint Car Tulsa Shootout, just go stick your head in the freezer for about 5 minutes, because it is just bone-chilling here. Now look on the outside of the front row. That 22 car, no, it has not been involved in a crash. It looks like that way on purpose. I mean, Tommy Johnson, the driver and the designer of that machine, has come up with a really bizarre look.
Well, Steve, ask a computer what a sprint car ought to look like, and that's what it'll tell you.
Well, I asked my computer to design a horse, and it came out looking like a camel. I think a similar thing may have happened here. This is heat number 4. 10 laps. The top 4 go to the main event. And in the 22 car falling into the second spot, that is Tom Johnson. Out of the lead is 77, Donnie Crawford. And whoa! Sideways goes the 22 car. He is not going to take anybody else out with him. That will bring out the yellow flag. So Dallas Tom Johnson went into that first turn as if he just wasn't about to lift, and the result was, well, the spin that you just saw. You know, earlier, Brock had a chance back in the pit area to take a good look at that 22 car.
Take a little stroll up and down pit lane here at Tulsa, and you'll see most of the sprint cars look almost alike. But here's one, the one from Dallas, Tom Johnson Jr.'s car, that's totally different. Really the most original approach to sprint car racing you're going to find anywhere. What Tom and his pals have done, and they're all mechanical engineers, have tried to create a wing setup and a chassis setup that'll give equal loading to the race cars on the racetrack. Tom says that most sprint cars will run on the right rear wheel as they corner, and what he's trying to do is balance the race car out to a point where you get equal loading on all 4 corners of the car. Now, what he's done is to radically cant the wing angles on this vehicle. As you can see, the front wing is tilted way to catch air going into the corners, the same way with the big top wing. Now, he also says that this is kind of a preliminary deal. He's got some other wings that they're working on that will be more radical and perhaps more effective. Tom runs his own metal fabricating business in Dallas, and he doesn't do this for a profession. He does this for kind of fun. He's a very creative engineer, and he's kind of making a little bit different approach to sprint car racing. You can see a radical difference here. We'll see how the car runs, but it's nice to see some guys trying some new things.
Brock, did I hear you say that he has some even more radical wing designs on the drawing board?
Yeah, I can't imagine what they're going to be, but right now we're going down for a green flag, a restart here, and the 10 car, Jeff Swindell, Sammy's younger brother, leaps right into the front, taking over the lead from that 77 car, Donnie Crawford. So down onto the back straightaway, we've got a new leader. There's Tom Johnson in the 22 car. Remember, he went to the back, but he's starting to move ahead again, right through the field. Maybe that race car works better than we think, Steve.
Well, how about Johnson in that blue 22 car, Brock? Now he's moving in on the number 68 car of Brian Tobin. But up front, there is really a battle going on. Number 10, Jeff Swindell, he's on the point. 77, Donnie Crawford. And on the first lap, a dramatic move was made by 8-time sprint car world champion Steve Kinser, the 11 car. He's now in third and looking for more.
There he is, moving in on Crawford as Jeff Swindell in the number 10 car continues to lead it. The only Ford engine car in the field. And there goes Kinser by Crawford into the second spot. So right now, it's Kinser second, Crawford third, Armstrong, Tony Armstrong fourth, Jack Hewitt in the fifth spot. And look at the 22 car. He's moved all the way up to sixth again, Steve.
And there is the 39 car. That is Tony Armstrong. He is just now underneath number 77, Donnie Crawford. That'll put him in the third spot. And here's 63, Jack Hewitt. He also gets underneath Crawford, and that'll put him in the fourth spot. And Crawford continues to fall back. 22, Tom Johnson is now taking over that fifth spot. Crawford's got some big problems. Whoa! And speaking of big problems, Jack Hewitt, what a spectacular spin in turn number 1. It just reared up on the rear tires like a bucking bronco. Jack Hewitt, you get my award for the spin of the day so far.
Well, what Jack tried to do was stay on the throttle and do a full 360, but the car took a bite and did a wheel stand. There you see Jack spinning. Got the throttle on, got the wheels turned, but they're off the ground. So the car just kind of flops to a halt. So the yellow's up. You know, these cars can get awful dirty. But Jack Hewitt, well, he's got a specialist to keep his clean.
You know, Brock, sometimes these sprint cars come off the track carrying as much as 40 or 50 pounds of mud all over them. Well, Jack Hewitt, the driver of the 63 car, has a secret weapon when it comes to getting all that mud out of tight places, hard-to-reach little spots. That's Cody Hewitt. Cody, how old are you, son?
3.5.
3.5 years old. Now, what does Daddy tell you to do with this ice scraper?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, I see you working pretty hard.
I know, when he races, I just clean it off for him.
That's a pretty important job, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many races do you go to with your dad?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, but the whole family goes together sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll let you get back to work. There's still a lot of mud you got to get off of here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, clearly Evans broke Cody's concentration, so he'll get back to work as we're just about ready for a green. But Tom Johnson is heading for the pit, so his race to the lead is over. But the green flag comes out, and the number 10 blue car, Jeff Swindell, holds on to the lead. But he is now going to be challenged by the number 11 car of Steve Kinzer.
And speaking of challenges, look at this. The 63 car, Jack Hewitt, recovered from that spectacular spin and wheel stand. He's now moved into the 4th position. He just drove right around 77 Johnny Crawford. But our leader on the last lap here in the 10 car, Jeff Swindell, Memphis, Tennessee, he's got about 4 car lengths right now over the king of the outlaws, Steve Kinzer, and it may just stay that way. And of course, both of them being first and second would transfer to the main event as they sweep out of turn number 4, and it is Jeff Swindell taking the checkered flag and Steve Kinzer in the 2nd spot. Right now, Brock Yates is back in the pit area with the driver of the 22 car, that experimental machine, Tom Johnson.
Seemed like it was hooked up real well. You got in a little bit, a little over enthusiastic on when the green flag dropped, I guess, and got off there and restarted and hit the back and then worked your way up.
Yeah, I went into one okay, but the guy turned it tighter than I anticipated, so I had to bend it to keep from hitting him, and then I lost it. It's my fault. I was too hot.
Well, it was a good show, and we'll no doubt see old number 22 back with what I understand is going to be an even newer and wilder wing. Is that right?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of research, and we think we can make a wing that's better than that one. And mainly, we got to get a motor that'll live. We have a motor problem that we haven't cured yet.
Need a little more horsepower and that extra wing. Well, good luck. We'll be watching you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, here are the results of heat number 4. Swindell wins it in the Ford. Kinzer 2nd. Jack Hewitt comes back from the spin to take the 4th transfer spot. And now let's go to Jeff Swindell.
Jeff, that one time you gave up the low line in 4 and Steve Kinzer just about got you. You weren't about to do that again.
No, we probably could have pulled him back off because when you get out there on the outside coming off 4 there, it was pretty good early. But I seen the yellow, so we backed on out of it. Wasn't no sense in running him in there. But he was coming up on me real good down there, so I decided I better move my choice and go to the bottom.
The Ford running well on this track.
Ford's doing an excellent job. This is my first day back in the Ford. We run the Ford back in my car a while back with Casey Luna a couple of years ago when we first got the thing going, and Ron Shaver's really got some stuff going with the motors now. Casey Luna owns the car, and Kenny Woodruff's helping me a lot with the thing. So, I mean, he's the wrench, and we're getting the job done pretty good today. I'm happy. This first race out in it, won the first one. We go out and see what we can't do at the feature.
We're happy for you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So Jeff Swindell happy, but now out on the racetrack, a special feature here, the 7-lap Fram Dash. It's going to be a wild one. Stay with us. We'll be back at Tulsa, Oklahoma, right after this.
Welcome back, everyone, to our continuing coverage of World of Outlaw Sprint Car Racing here at Tulsa Speedway. And right now, already warming up, are the cars involved in that very special race, the Fram Dash. And Brock Yates, how do you see this? 6 of the best drivers in the place.
And 7 laps, Steve. Now, don't forget, the finishing positions in this event will determine who starts up front in the 25-lap feature. Now, we've got Rocky Hodges and Bobby Davis Jr. on the front row. Now, those are 2 very tough competitors. The 2 fastest qualifiers, Kenny Jacobs and Doug Wolfgang are in the middle of the pack, and number 11, Steve Kinzer's at the back. But only 7 laps, so I would say maybe the 2 front row guys have got a real good shot at it.
Well, while we're away, they have worked on this track, watered it, packed it, and it may allow Steve Kinzer to indeed come from the back.
Okay, let's take one final look at that starting lineup. Davis and Hodges in the front row, Kenny Jacobs, Doug Wolfgang in the middle, Jimmy Sills and Steve Kinzer bringing up the rear.
Now, there's bonus cash for these drivers, but let's not forget the most important thing here. As they finish here, so will they start the feature race.
We outer green, a collective 4,000 horsepower down the front straightaway. Bobby Davis Jr. in the lead. Rocky Hodges immediately challenged by Doug Wolfgang in the yellow number 40 down the back straightaway.
Let's see if Wolfgang will ride the rim. He did come out of 2. No, he gets down low, looking for that moisture in the racetrack. He stays low, 3 and 4. Now let's see what he does on the outside. Here comes Steve Kinzer from the back, the number 11 car.
Nips inside Kenny Jacobs, and here in the back is Jimmy Sills and Jacobs, both falling back as Kinzer charges up and begins now to try to challenge the number 23 car, Rocky Hodges. But here comes Jacobs underneath him in the red 56. Can't make it hold. Kinzer holds on to that 4th spot.
Well, as you predicted, Brock, with this dry racetrack, it's going to be tough. Now, there's Doug Wolfgang, the 40 car, and just behind him is the 23 car, Rocky Hodges. These are 2 brilliant race drivers. Look at Hodges' car, just rear up. Doesn't bother him a bit, never gets off the throttle. Closing right in on the back of the 40 yellow car, that is Wolfgang. Wolfgang, however, goes high and pulls away.
All right, down the back straightaway. Rocky Hodges underneath Wolfgang, side by side through turn number 4. Hodges low, doing that wheel stand. What fight Hodges has got on that 23 car. Wolfgang holds on now, tucks down low, shuts the door on Rocky Hodges. Right behind Hodges is Kinzer. Kinzer begins to challenge now. There is Wolfgang. Kinzer way high through turn 3 and 4. Rocky Hodges low. Kinzer gets a big run off turn 4. Can he get around Hodges? No. Hodges shuts the door on him. Down low. Now Kinzer tries him low. Can he get him coming off turn 2? No. Rocky Hodges holds on to that 3rd spot.
Well, Rocky Hodges has the best line around this racetrack as far as his setup is concerned. Steve Kinzer would like to run there, too. He's just hoping that Hodges makes a mistake. We're going on the last lap. And about the only mistake that Hodges could make at this point would be if he should slide high, especially going down into turn number 3 where Kinzer could get underneath it. Here is the winner, Bobby Davis Jr. in the number 6 car. 2nd place, the yellow number 40. That is Doug Wolfgang. And he is followed by Rocky Hodges. Bobby Davis Jr. wins the Fram Dash. That kind of racing, Brock, you wish it was more than 7 laps.
Boy, you're right. Bobby Davis Jr., winner flag to flag in the Fram Dash. At the Tulsa Speedway, I'm Brock Yates along with Steve Evans. We're getting ready for the lineup of the B feature, the consolation race. But before that, let's have a look at the final results of the Fram Dash. Bobby Davis Jr., Doug Wolfgang, Rocky Hodges, Steve Kinzer, Kenny Jacobs. And now let's go to Steve with the winner, Bobby Davis Jr.
25 more laps like those last 7, and you could go away here with a nice paycheck.
Well, the car really felt good. The guys had it, just about perfect. And I think it's just going to be a tire deal now, and hope we choose the right one.
A tire deal, you mean what?
Well, it looks like it might start smoking the tires down, and might have to go to a little harder compound.
See you in a bit.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to Brock with the man who finished 2nd.
Steve, I'm with Doug Wolfgang, who looked like he had a little bit of a push near the end of it anyway, and just couldn't quite get by.
Yeah, I was too tight there. I was afraid when they watered the track, and I didn't know how the track was going to be because I hadn't been out since I qualified, but I got the stagger wasn't right, and I was shoving the front and the center of the corner, and that way I had to break it loose, and that's not right. You're supposed to roll in there like a slot car and do a nice job, and I wasn't doing it right.
Well, you guys, you and Jacobs both had a little bit of a disadvantage. No heat race, so you kind of went out there cold.
Well, yeah, but we didn't have to kill ourselves in a heat race either, so we were all right.
So you're ready for the feature. You got some big changes to make, or will you pretty much stay with that setup?
I think I'm going to stay pretty close to where I'm at and see how things progress here, during the B main and stuff.
Okay, good. Thanks, Doug. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, Steve.